Paraguay is a poor country with a violent history. It's only been a democracy since 1993, and ever since then the government's been fighting poverty, particularly in the rural areas. But to understand more about the development of Paraguay, I need to speak to Jorge Corvalán, who's the president of the Central Bank of Paraguay.
It was a good news for the country to have a AAA bank coming to South America, especially to Paraguay, is a vote of confidence for the system. Yeah, very important. Our country has a lot of people not involved with banking yet. So the progress to bancarization will be important. And I hope it will come with the hand of Rabo Bank.
The Central Bank of Paraguay clearly sees the alliance of Banco Regional with Rabo Development as complementing their overall objectives for the economic growth of Paraguay. But to learn more, we need to travel to the south, to the country's number 2 city, Encarnación. Everywhere. It's easy to see how 20% of GDP comes from agriculture. Encarnación is where Banco Regional has its headquarters. It's also where Dutch expat Twan Franken is responsible for risk management in what's only recently become the country's number 1 bank.
The participation of Rabo was immediately 40% of the shares because Rabo Development wanted to be a minority shareholder. It's a high value that all these banks, Banco Regional also, stays local bank, locally managed with local interest. What we introduced was the concept of being the advisory bank of the clients, not just a transaction bank. And the other thing is that we implemented a more broad idea on risk management. So not just focusing on client risk. And in that way you have a kind of balanced bank between commerce and risk. Well, one of the goals when we entered Paraguay was to make Banco Regional in 3 years the largest bank in Paraguay. And we heard that the Banco Santander was selling ABN AMRO part in Paraguay. This gives us the possibility to grow to the level first bank in Paraguay. The portfolio of Banco Regional is concentrated on the agricultural area, which is a risk in itself. We're buying the ABN AMRO part, which is a totally different portfolio. It's more cattle raising, more industry, more services. We spread this concentration risks tremendously. Just 15 or 20% of the population has access to banking services. And we're now thinking of the other 80%, how to provide a banking service to them.
So what's Paraguay like?
Well, I'm going to show you. Let's visit a couple of our clients, starting with one of the founders of this bank, Mr. Tushuk, which is also our president.
So tell me a bit about Mr. Tushuk.
Mr. Tushuk currently is the president of Banco Regional, and he's also one of the founders, has a huge factory in soya, and they even have their own harbor for exporting their products.
Banco Regional nace de un grupo de personas que está involucradas todas ellas están involucradas en el sector productivo y especialmente en el sector cooperativista. Y Rabobank tiene mucha experiencia en los trabajos de cooperativas, del sector productivo, especialmente del sector agroalimentario. Y creíamos de que nos puede ayudar mucho con su experiencia, con su tecnología, es crecer y hacer crecer el entorno. A nosotros nos interesa que nuestra región se desarrolle, que nuestra región crezca y que el Banco Regional sea un pilar de soporte para el crecimiento y el desarrollo de la economía regional y local.
Where are we heading to now?
To a soy farmer, originated from Brazil. He came to Paraguay, practically with nothing. He built in a very short time a farm of about 800 hectares.
Bueno, es el cultivo anual. Hay 2 cultivos anual normal. Es soja, verano y trigo invierno. y también alternativamente maíz en verano para hacer rotación de cultura, porque hace parte del proceso de rotación de cultura. El banco es un aporte muy importante porque ellos nos dan préstamos a largo plazo para hacer construcciones como silo, compra maquinaria, chacra, que ellos miran por la chacra, por la colonia y apoyan mucho.
So, where next?
Well, now we're going to our biodiesel producing client. He's producing this out of soya, out of sunflower. He has a very sophisticated irrigation system. They started with irrigating systems at a very professional level.
Estamos en una región de Paraguay que es muy productiva. Estamos haciendo 3 cosechas al año, sí o sí. Y el banco siempre nos da asistencia. Hoy no necesitamos prácticamente irnos ni al banco, el banco viene a nosotros. Entonces esa es la diferencia que tenemos con ese banco, que es un banco que es esencialmente agrícola, que nos asiste todo directo como queremos. Y hoy continuamos, porque si continuamos a crecer, porque el banco está creciendo y no que nosotros somos una escuela que estamos creciendo junto con el banco, esa es la verdad. Como crece el banco, crecemos nosotros también.
As Tuan showed me, this is a fertile country with all the important ingredients to play a significant part in feeding the world. They have the soil, the climate, the crops, the enthusiasm, and they have the energy to turn good intentions into real production. Real energy, energy like this. It's clean, it's green, and there's an awful lot of it. Energy that's being harnessed just as the agricultural potential of the country is being harnessed with the help of Rabo Development. So here we are on the 38th floor of the Gherkin, one of London's most iconic buildings. It's situated in the heart of the financial centre, so it seems like a good place to discuss the global perspective of Rabo Development with its chief, Arnold Kuipers. Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I've spent the last couple of weeks travelling several continents seeing what Rabo Development's achieved. So into the future, say the next 5 years, what do you want to achieve?
I would like to see that the partner banks we have in the various countries, like Zambia, Tanzania, Mozambique, Rwanda, Paraguay and China, that they are able to contribute to the economy of their country, and in particular to the rural economy, in the same manner as Rabobank was able to contribute to the rural economy of the Netherlands. Rabobank, in many respects, is our example how to develop those partner banks in developing countries. Over time, when those countries are becoming more prosperous and those customers are becoming more wealthy, their wealth and their numbers will be reflected in the balance sheet of Rabobank itself. So by servicing a growing number of customers, we actually are servicing ourselves as a banking institution.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So it seems Rabo Development perfectly blends old and new. They value the old intentions reminiscent of Rabobank's 19th century roots, while embracing modern banking tools to help 21st century communities develop. They create balanced banking.